Hello there, listeners. Welcome to the Bullpen Podcast. Now, before we get started, I'd just like to quickly talk about Buzzsprout. So, over the years, myself and Jamie have worked incredibly hard and refined the Bullpen Podcast into the stylish cultural phenomenon that it is today. But none of this would have been possible without Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout as a platform allows us to upload our finished work and host it on major services such as Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes and more. Simply put, without Buzzsprout, we would not have reached as many ears as we have. Once you sign up to Buzzsprout, you immediately get access to several hours worth of upload allowance a month, as well as an easy to navigate website and analytical data of every aspect of your podcast and all its listeners. If you sign up using our link in the podcast description, you'll find information on how to sign up and grab a $25 Amazon voucher courtesy of Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest way to get your podcast off the ground. Join over 100,000 podcasters getting their voices heard and sign up using our link today.
You're going to leave that in now.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Bullpen Podcast about baseball.
Yes, by the finest minds that you'll ever find in the whole of Mansfield, maybe.
Premier
possibly.
Mansfield Baseball Podcast.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we're the premier baseball podcast in the whole of Nottingham.
I think we are.
Absolutely.
Not quite the East Midlands, because there's them guys over in probably in Leicester or Derby or something.
I don't know. Well, a message for those guys. We're coming for you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hot on your tails.
Watch your back.
We are the Wile Coyote to your Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Although the twist in this story is we're going to get you.
Yeah.
We are the Tom to your Jerry.
Without any tricks or gimmicks. no holes
No
painted
Acme.
on walls.
No Acme.
So yeah, this podcast brought to you by the Acme Corporation.
Well, guys, episode 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Took us a while, didn't we?
It did,
We had a little break.
I blame you for having
You have said.
having absolutely nothing to do.
He says in jest, of course.
I'm not taking no responsibility.
Well, I mean, we've got busy lives. We've been out there doing things.
Yeah. I've been busy doing absolutely nothing.
Do you want to talk about your little jaunt recently?
Yeah, my jaunt to the Cape Verde Islands with my beloved.
It looks beautiful.
It is beautiful. The island's motto is no stress. It was literally that.
You're also closer to the MLB action.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Still a long way away, but still
not
close
too
to
far from the Dominican Republic. Well, it's far enough, but further than what we are now.
Yeah.
It's very close to what we are now, sorry. So, yeah, fantastic. Hence the break in podcasts.
Yeah, well, we had to recharge the old batteries, didn't we?
Absolutely.
But we're back, and I think we're better than ever.
There's a lot gone off since the last podcast.
Tons of things.
Shall we dive straight in?
So, yeah, for this 3-hour episode.
A bumper episode.
So, do you want to start us off, Mr. Ramage?
No.
Not really.
Okay, shall I start us off?
Go on then.
This happened a couple of weeks ago. This was news all over the world. BBC picked this up, actually.
Great.
The Mariners' second baseman, Robinson Cano, or Cano, not sure on the pronunciation.
No.
Robinson Cano.
80-game ban for testing positive for, and I did research this as in the pronunciation and instantly forgot, furosemide.
Yes.
So tested positive for that.
And where can you get this miracle drug?
Yeah.
I've looked on various sources of shopping websites.
So it's not like
It's not something I could buy from Boots.
No.
Hashtag
Shout to Boots for not selling that.
Yeah, I mean they're a Nottinghamshire-based company.
Yeah,
So,
I actually work very close to Boots as well in terms of their whatever. There's lots of that.
Yes.
So we spoke about sort of bans, didn't we, in sports?
Yes.
And sort of, are they retrospective of is the punishment fitting in the crime and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So in terms of doping bans, because athletics is a hefty ban.
Yes.
Cycling as well.
Yeah. So anything like that.
Cricket, you get at least a year usually. Yeah.
So 80 games.
That's not.
He'll be back before the end of the season.
Half the season.
Yeah.
Half a season. So yeah, it's
He'll be back before the end of the season.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem harsh enough. But then,
did he take it willingly though? That's the thing, because you hear I know a lot of athletes come out and say, I was taking this drug for asthma, for example. I know that's what a few tennis players have said. I think Maria Sharapova was the one who said she took it.
Shane Warne's is the best excuse.
What was that?
He said that the reason he tested positive for a diuretic is because his mum gave it to him.
Wow.
So,
You've got to trust what your mum gives you.
Yeah.
Not on that occasion.
So this is a diuretic as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is that for the weight loss?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at sort of his excuse, and he's been very sort of...
Yeah, he says he was given it by a licensed doctor in his native Dominican Republic, and the substance is used to treat various medical conditions there and in the United States.
And I guess what makes this a high-profile sort of story, other than the ban itself, how much he's actually worth.
And you see how much he'll actually lose as well. He's
So-
going to lose 11.85 of his £24 million deal.
240 million.
Oh, it says 20. Oh, sorry, this is the for
Oh,
2018.
yeah,
sorry,
sorry.
for 2018. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's a 10-year, 240 mil contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24 mil.
Yeah.
Well, it's say it like it's nothing.
eye
but
watering.
it's huge
Think about
amount
it.
of money.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not.
Don't get expenses either.
no.
Yeah, so it's very sort of vague on a reason why. It's the weight loss reason was touched on, but you should know these things by now. A banned substance is a banned substance.
Yeah, did he know it was banned though? Because how often do the drugs get updated on the ban list? Because I don't know how often they refresh. Like, does it refresh every 6 months, every year? Do they have a new list come out of, right, you can't take this?
Well, I can't imagine it's
I don't quite know.
If you're in the office and you get pulled into a room, there's a memo going around. And
Yeah, you need to look at this.
We're a sports star
Make yourself
and
aware of
in
it.
7 figures.
Yeah, I think
It's a little bit more sort of that you do not do this.
Yeah, it's on you to check that whatever you're putting in your body isn't.
Yeah,
And also, you're costing us as well.
that's true. Yeah,
Because he's a star player, isn't he, really, for the Mariners?
Do the Mariners have any star players?
well, yeah, 8-time
Not
MLB
anymore.
All-Star, 305 home runs, more than 2,400 hits. So he is a big name, big player.
He is a big name for them.
And like you say, in terms of the Mariners, they lose him. Who else?
80 games,
Yeah.
their record could tumble without him. I don't, it's,
Definitely. It would be interesting to
Like I say,
see
he is
how
a
they've
player.
sort of performed since.
yeah, since that up until now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we're all sort of agreeing that it's just not harsh enough. It's maybe something the MLB has to look at.
Yeah.
Because...
What do you,
Go on.
sorry, talking about drugs, drug bans. One of our favourite guys, Bartolo
Oh,
Colon. I think he's had 2 failed drug tests.
okay.
So where do the MLB stand on that? Like, you failed once. How dare you do it again, sort of thing? There should be greater
And
sanctions.
there was always questions. Well, for a long time, questions asked about Barry Bonds, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, is he in the Hall of Fame?
Well,
I don't know.
he hasn't been retired that long, has he?
Has he
Really, in terms
has
of
he
Hall of
officially
Fame,
been in it? Because I don't know if I heard this right, but there was a bit of controversy about whether he should go in based on the fact that he took a lot of drugs.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if that's true or not.
And I think, going back onto that, back onto Robinson Cano, this voids him from ever being in the Hall of Fame. When you look at his record, he was very much due to be in there.
Absolutely, you look at his stats, and
So he's 35 years old, probably been playing pro baseball for 15-ish years.
yeah, probably even a bit longer.
Yeah,
He
and
started when he was 16. It's 19 years.
all of that gone to waste because of a silly mistake.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it is.
I'm trying to think of the only one I could think of football wise was Rio Ferdinand when he miss or did
Rio
he
Ferdinand.
deliberately skip the drugs test?
Yeah,
allegedly.
yeah. And there's
allegedly.
also I think Adrian Mutu, or the ex-Chelsea player.
Well, that was a bit more sort of. I think he got.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more serious, but Yeah, the one you're talking about, Rio Ferdinand. Yeah, he did. I think he did skip 2 drugs.
And he was disgraced for years after that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Probably to this day.
Yeah.
One of the cricketers that I'd known and admire who failed a drugs test. It was for cocaine or something, so recreational drug.
Yeah.
He was given like a 1 year, 2 year ban, and in his downtime, he opens a Christmas tree shop in London somewhere. So that would kind of suggest that. Wow. Yeah.
Well,
there might be a few things going.
It's funny you mentioned the recreational drug use. Did you see the story about Kenyon Martin? In terms of he's basically claimed that 85% of NBA players smoke weed.
Nice.
I can probably agree with that. I can see that being true.
With some, I mean, depends where you are on which side of the fence in terms of should it be legalised and whatnot.
Yeah.
But very, very couple of players have said that they couldn't perform without it. You know, it supplements their life and their sort of sport. So
says a lot.
I guess
people say that.
If you were going to have an argument for this sort of thing, and I'm not saying I'm condoning it, but I guess it's kind of relaxant. And if
it's got a track record of being sort of for medical use. Yeah. It does heal a lot of ailments and things like that. And it's never killed anybody either. But it just seems to have this taboo from the 50s, 60s.
Yeah. I guess some of the more kind of potent stuff can cause kind of like mental issues.
Yeah.
Well, it's same with any sort of mood altering substance, and I guess with it being it's a natural substance as well. I think that's what probably sets it apart from your man-made sort of cocaine and ecstasy and that kind of things.
You can't take like the hemp kind of bags, the Hessian bags that you get in supermarkets. You can't take them into America.
Yeah. Very, very strict country. Which again, it's one of those things. I imagine if I'm like you, I don't condone it. I'm not really a fan of it, but if legalising it, I think would do more good than
absolutely
anything.
It smells awful.
It does. But you legalise something that, if he's right in saying 85% of NBA players take, it gets put on the market, it gets taxed. The money earned from it goes back into whatever healthcare. I don't know how it works over there, but surely it's just the stigma over it.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
And don't stick any of your body parts into a microwave.
Sound advice.
South Park reference there for you.
Excellent stuff.
Thank you.
Any shout outs to do, just briefly?
Yeah, do you want the usual shout outs?
Yeah, can do.
Well, we'll shout out our sort of main sponsor, Softball Workouts.
Yeah, the guys that are doing some great work over there.
Yeah, some really great work. You can find them on Twitter.
They are at Softball Workouts, I do believe.
Yep.
Get on it. Yeah, at Softball Workout, sorry.
So that's for anyone sort of with
getting into softball. Yeah. Well, whether you're new or playing it already, they do give fantastic tips and drills to help you perform better at softball.
And it's something I've looked at. It's very, very simple list. It's not a sort of a word belch argument where it's just you have to filter through tons of stuff to find what you need. It's just simple bullet points.
Absolutely.
Here's what you do to improve your game.
That's it.
And I think the main thing about any sport is just kind of keeping it simple, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
I know somebody that I play hockey with who says that kind of some of the best hockey players he plays with, they just do the very simple things and they do it really well.
Do the basics, yeah.
If you've ever watched sort of like World Championship snooker, for instance, there will be times where commentators will pull up a replay of a shot, just a normal shot, and they'll say, right, look how this player approaches the table.
Yep.
And it's the same meticulous sort of step by step. So face the table, crouch, face forward, bend your elbow, kind of thing. And then if you're not sure of the shot you're taking, just take it back and do it again.
Yeah.
And it's the same routine for every single shot you take.
Basics, if you
And I guess your cricket players are the same. It's the same sort
Yeah.
of. Obviously, you switch up depending on what kind of ball you're facing, but
Yeah.
as your sort of stance and your, in terms of balance and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. It depends whether it's left-handed, right-handed bowler a bit.
And probably again, if a baseball sort of, if you're hitting a baseball, it's just the same.
Yeah, I mean, one of our favourite tennis players was able to kind of use her tennis technique.
Eugenie Bouchard?
Yeah, to hit some baseballs.
She was, yeah.
So I guess there's all sorts of crossovers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just looking on Twitter at the moment, there's an Ask the Padres kind of thing going on.
Okay.
And somebody has asked, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Are we debating this?
To which, do you want to know what the Padres have answered back with?
Okay.
A sandwich is a sandwich, a hot dog is a hot dog.
Well, you know.
Nice and simple, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Or you could go one further and say, is a Jaffa cake a biscuit or a cake?
Oh, wasn't that solved though?
Yeah.
Recently? Is it because it gets hard after its sell-by date? It's technically a cake.
Yeah. But it's still sold on the biscuit aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Right, shout outs.
Let's carry on with Jaffa cakes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we'll
next week, maybe.
We'll get to our taste test in
Oh,
good
yeah.
time.
We could do a blind Jaffa cake test, couldn't we?
We could do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring in some
next week or so.
if you bring the Aldi ones in.
Yep, absolutely. Blind Jaffa cake
Oh,
test.
yes. We have some lovely listeners, or lovely Twitter followers, should I say, to shout out.
Yeah, so I guess we put out a thing about some of the books that we've been reading, and Maria MB18 has told us that The Teammates is a pretty decent book.
Yeah,
shout out.
Yeah, so Squirtle's currently reading that. Yeah,
he's got his head right.
So you can find her at Maria MB18. Then I guess there's is it Bush League Steve?
Bush League Steve, as always,
Yeah.
huge fans.
Yeah, one of the originals.
Yeah.
Maybe the only actual fan.
Well,
I beg to differ.
The first of many, I'd say.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
You had an exchange earlier with someone on Twitter, didn't you?
I did. Let's bring up their details.
And it's funny because what they said is kind of...
It's what we one of the
At
things I've
Lisa LGM1.
It's something you can kind of relate to. So I think you replied to her.
got. Yes. Because she put on Twitter that she hates soccer or association football, so we'd love to know it.
Yep.
And she's kind of worried that there might be too many World Cup tweets coming up soon. To which we are in the process of making a World Cup special.
Yeah, that'll come later on.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think it's just what she said about sort of, are you even American if you don't hate soccer?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've always assumed that it's a growing sport over there.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen
it's got more
in sports bars, they'll show, like such as baseball as well, they'll show more than one game.
Yeah.
Because they're out of the licensed sort of chokehold that we're under.
Yep.
Yeah.
They can show 3 o'clock kickoffs and sort of more than one at a time.
So they can show Burnley versus West Brom.
I remember one of the first ever football games I saw over there, and it was Villa v Leeds. Yeah. No, Villa v Derby, sorry.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I thought, why are we watching this? And people were watching it with general intrigue.
Of course, a player that has actually played in the American leagues has signed up as a manager over here the last couple of days. Frank Lampard.
Frank Lampard, he played for
New York.
New York. Yeah, New York Colts.
New York City, I think.
New York City, that's the one. Yeah.
Vieira's team.
Who are they owned by Manchester City?
Sort of affiliation.
Affiliation, yeah.
So he's gone to Derby, which is the home of the former baseball ground.
Yeah.
I did actually, because we have sort of always we've tickled this without properly grabbing it, haven't we? This little
Absolutely, yeah.
We've dipped our
That
little
was
toes
a very
in
nice
there.
link. I think you agree.
We've dipped our little toes in there, and we've never properly gone in, have we?
No.
But I did look at this. So, as the name suggests, and this is not verbatim from Wikipedia at all. The stadium was originally used for baseball.
Yeah.
It was originally called Lay's Baseball Ground because of Sir Francis Lay, the businessman, who built it. Well, he didn't build it himself. He sort of funded it with his workers. Yeah, essentially for his little gang of workers at the Lays Malleable Castings Vulcan Ironworks.
That's a mouthful.
It was a mouthful, yeah. And that went up until... So that was established around 1890.
Yeah, there's a National Baseball League at the time.
Yeah. And
Great Britain and Ireland.
Yeah. Because I think I asked this, because I think you were the first to mention it.
Yes.
And I sort of said, well, what was the appeal back then?
Yeah.
Because that was sort of predates most sort of... Even sort of MLB kicking off and
I guess in a funny way, it's a bit like the first ever international cricket match being the USA versus Canada.
Mm.
Yeah, and that kind of, isn't it weird how these sports have flipped each side of the pond?
Because it isn't the general sort of conception that we invented cricket.
Well,
is that sort of the accepted?
It depends.
Or is it like
you ask?
There is a theory that the French might have invented it.
The French.
Yeah, many moons ago.
Mm.
But I guess organised cricket was kind of invented here as a way of just making sure that everybody was gambling on it. Was making sure that everything was clarified and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a betting sport. Cricket is.
Absolutely.
It's very
never
strange.
caused any trouble.
Not at all.
It went on for I think about 8 years.
Yeah.
But the Derby baseball team at the time, I think, were forced to resign. It says here the amount of American players they used was a little bit sort of, well, you can't do that.
Too much.
Yeah.
You can't win the league by playing players that know how to play the sport.
Yeah. Imagine if the Nottingham Panthers had like
Actual Panthers.
or Americans or Canadians in their side. That would just be terrible.
Not in my sport, I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's funny that I think that was 1898 was the date down for its sort of the baseball club closure, should I say?
Yeah.
The football team, I think, off the top of my head, 1896.
You reckon?
I think it was a few years before.
I'm not sure.
The baseball ground sort of ceased to exist.
A fun little fact is
Okay.
that more amateurs have played for Derby County than any other football league team in the country.
Excellent.
Yeah, there's about 4 or 5 of them over the history of the thing. And Peter Ramage was not one of them.
Any relation?
No. No.
Fourth cousin twice removed, perhaps?
No, unfortunately, I think the side of my Ramage clan are all from kind of Edinburgh.
Was 1-year-old Dar? Was it Peter?
It was not him or Roll. But yeah, I guess a shout out to Peter Ramage because we have 2 Newcastle fans here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And a Ramage.
Absolutely.
So, he is on Twitter, so go find him.
I'm going to.
I will find him.
Yeah.
On Twitter, of course.
Track
We're
it
going to
down.
hunt you down, Peter, just
Now
to
we
clarify.
know your name.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So
Excellent
what
stuff.
else is in the news? What's been in the news?
Well, I've got one other big story. So do you remember me talking about the sort of betting
Yes.
case that was sort of passed on? It wasn't sort of agreed to. This was a month or so ago.
Yeah.
There has finally been a ruling by the Supreme Court in the favour of betting being legal again.
Yeah.
In not just baseball but all sports
Yep.
in the USA. So that changes everything because it's always been illegal. You can't bet on any sports in play in America whatsoever. Only if you live in the US. So obviously all outside can bet on NFL matches and stuff.
Yeah, there's an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, isn't there, where one of the detectives bets on a dog show.
Oh, dear.
Through an illegal bookie, which turns out to be a college kid with a computer.
Excellent.
Them college kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge in terms of because we've seen the amount of money that generates in football.
Yes.
in terms of sponsorship and that kind of things. Will we see will we see betting companies going down the sponsorship route? Do you think?
I don't know. You don't.
Well,
you don't really seem to see in the actual baseball games, do you? You don't really actually see much sponsorship.
The sponsorship is more around the grounds.
Yeah.
So I think ground sponsorship is a thing. Yeah. Don't know how that sort of works with team sponsorship.
No.
Because you're right. You don't see sort of the shirt emblazoned with a brand.
Yeah, and it's not like the advertising's plastered all over the ground either, is it?
No.
It can be, such as scoreboards can be heavily sponsored. So we've seen, I think, the Yankee Stadium, there's just all sorts of, I think Delta's like, half the ground's just filled with Delta sort of sponsorship. Yeah. So,
but you don't get to see a lot of that on TV, though, do you?
No.
You do in this country.
Yeah, like I say.
I mean, every advert is Ray Winston. Bet 365, you see a hell of a lot. So, a lot of people have been saying it's long overdue, this legalised betting.
Yeah, so, like I say, would it be a good thing? Because obviously it's in its infancy.
Yeah.
All they have to do is sort of look how it works in other sports to see, is this a working model now? This is something they can do.
Yeah. It's not gone down too well in football and cricket, has it? The betting, per se. I
mean, I guess the similarities that cricket has with baseball is that it's kind of a pitch by pitch. It's quite number heavy.
Yeah.
So you can say
stats and sort of runs scored and.
So you can say what will be the outcome of the second pitch in the third inning, top of the third inning.
Yes. What sort of ball will it be? Will it be a curve ball? Will it be a 95 mile an hour plus or something along them lines? The scenarios are endless, really.
Which is why some players got into quite considerable trouble in cricket. There was even jail time for some of them because there was a thing where they predicted when a no ball was going to happen.
Yeah, was one of the players Mohammed Amir?
I think so.
And Mohammed Asif.
Yeah.
And somebody else I can't remember the name of.
But the way they kind of got rumbled is that one of these no balls was so
far fetched.
Yeah, that it was like something's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously a no ball in cricket is you have to have your foot behind the line.
Yeah.
If it's over the line completely, it's classed as a no ball, and that particular ball was so far over the line that people just thought, there's something quite wrong here. But like you say, it's a pitch by pitch sort of sport where you can have so many scenarios on what you can bet on.
Where just one pitch isn't going to change the outcome of the game, but you can still make somebody rich.
Yeah.
Up until the ruling, where did it say? So Nevada, obviously with Vegas, is the only state allowed to offer a full menu of sports betting options. And it says here, in 2017, a record $4.8 billion was wagered on Nevada sports.
Wow.
So this legislation basically allows. So the example here is New Jersey, with a large population. I mean, you to think how much sort of money is now going to be sort of
generated,
put into that kind of activity. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah. See how it pans out.
I think the general agreement is that it's keeping up with the times. Because
on the Day Telegraph.
Yeah. Not the Mail. So we'll have to see how that pans out. If it's a good thing, I'm still on the fence whether it's a good thing in football. To tell you the truth,
time will tell. I guess.
I'm on the fence on most things.
We'll put that out to listeners. I guess if you're an American fan of any sport,
what's your view on the legalised betting in sports?
Are you someone that wants to bet?
Are you an advocate for it, or are you completely against it?
Yeah, and then if you have a kind of thing where we disagree with you, we're just going to say, you want to bet?
I like it.
Either way, you're a winner.
Yeah. Should we talk about a Red Sox pitcher that has actually genuinely certifiedly got injured?
Go for it.
Carson Smith?
Yes.
So he's
Do you want to take a punt of the
He's done something to his right shoulder.
It's
Yeah.
the subluxation of his right shoulder when he threw his glove in the dugout. That's, if you're the Red Sox, you're going to be quite annoyed at that.
How did Dave Besant get injured? Did he drop like a jar of mayonnaise on his foot? Or
It
something?
was mayonnaise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think he did, yeah.
So it's kind of one of them bizarre sports injuries.
Yeah,
Was it Liam Lawrence as well, where he'd gone on holiday? It might not be Liam, and he'd gone on holiday. He'd got like in a villa or something.
Yeah.
Got in the shower, come out of the shower, wet feet,
Slipped.
lino flooring
Yeah.
on his arse.
Yeah.
A Mansfield legend.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Liam Lawrence?
He went to Stoke
And is that it? Is he just,
after the
is it just-
playoff.
He went.
Final loss.
No, he went
He
to a
to-
decent northeast team, Sunderland.
who
he
are
went
now
there.
who are now in League One? Sorry.
Yeah. I saw a thing on Twitter the other day where it's got the 24 positions in League One,
I've seen this.
and it says it's too early to kind of predict who's going to finish where. And
Before
then-
the transfer season starts,
Yeah.
24.
Sunderland.
Sunderland.
It's so funny.
I've seen that in so many iterations, and everyone's funny.
Yeah.
And that almost reminds me of the time when Burton beat Sunderland and relegated into League One.
Oh,
So,
that was fine. That was a
that
good
was,
day.
that was a good day. for
Chris Coleman's Barmy Army.
Absolutely. A good
Who's
day.
no longer
for
the
them.
manager there.
No.
There was actually talk a few weeks, I think about a week or so after he got sacked. There was talk of them rehiring him.
Yeah, because it wasn't technically because Ellis Short had obviously
He's
done
gone.
the sacking,
now,
but then gone.
He's gone.
Is it
He's the Eastleigh chairman. I
Yeah,
think. He runs a
name-
consortium.
name does escape me? But he's
Zinedine Zidane's looking for a new job.
He is.
Arsene Wenger.
Yes,
well, Coleman to Madrid, I think.
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's the obvious choice, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep. Or who's been sacked today by Leeds, Paul Heckingbottom.
Yo,
He's out of a job.
Yeah.
So is Newcastle legend Alan Pardew.
Should we stop putting Lisa off?
Sorry. So where were we on about Carson
Smith.
Yeah.
So
Back on subject.
you're a Sox fan.
Yeah.
How does he sort of rank in that team's performance?
Do you know I'm such a big Sox fan that I don't really know?
You decline to comment.
Yes, but I guess is it Price, the one that's been hounded a bit because
David Price.
David Price, because he's because he was out injured because of a fortnight injury. Yeah.
You did say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Hilarious.
So I
About
guess-
2 weeks, wasn't
yeah, so I guess this sounds a bit more. Yeah, so while it's still a silly thing to get yourself
It
injured,
sounds more serious, to be
yeah,
honest.
but the actual injury is like proper serious.
Yeah, it's
so,
a partial dislocation.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Because
the shoulder.
obviously, topical news, a certain Mohamed Salah
Yes,
was
Mr. Mayor.
in a tangle in Champions
Yep,
League final.
he was.
A little old injury to his shoulder.
Yeah,
Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, a risk for the World Cup.
yeah.
So,
Well, the Egyptian FA have said that he will be fit for the World Cup,
well, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
which is
So how about another
brilliant.
injury?
Go for it.
Clayton Kershaw.
Oh yes,
Yes.
this one.
So
He's done an Anderton, has he?
yeah, damn it, he'll be fit for the World Cup. Don't worry about
Done it
that.
Owen Hargreaves or a Kieran Dyer.
God,
First ever football autograph I got was Darren Anderton.
excellent.
Just so you
Well,
know.
did he? Did he sprain his wrist signing the autograph?
I think it was. It might have been. It might even been about 96. So I think, and it was in kind of like May, June. So he would have been fit. He's always fit during them months.
So you'd say he was a 7 out of 10, would you?
Yeah.
Definitely your type.
I don't know. Right. So Clayton Kershaw, he missed 44 days with inflamed back muscle back in 2014.
Yep.
Herniated a disc in 2016, which put him out for 74 days. And now he's got a lower back strain, which can be quite...
Well, it's a very sort of tender part of the body, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
something that
It's
if
one
it
of
goes,
them. It goes, yeah.
It's a bit of a fall from grace for Kershaw, actually. They are 2-6. The Dodgers are 2-6 in games started by Kershaw this season, after losing just 8 in 2016 and 2017 combined. So that's a complete turnaround. So you could say that the injuries have really set him back.
So I wonder if, I don't know the ins and outs of sort of the medical sort of the surgeries and things like that, but we look at Tiger Woods, for instance, and it's not a dissimilar technique, is it? A golf swing to a baseball swing? Allegedly. And he, obviously, back injuries have plagued his sort of back end of his career until he's come back recently, but it took him, I want to say, a good 6-7 years.
It took him a while. He was down in the dumps for a while.
And so he's apparently, in quotes, back to his best.
Yeah. No pun intended.
As much as a 40-year-old golfer can be. But you look at Kershaw's record, all back injuries from 2014. It's obviously a problem that's not going to go away. Unless, obviously, substantial surgery is required. I don't know.
The thing with a bad back, it doesn't tend to get fully healed, does it, really? I don't think. I don't actually know. I've never had a back injury, but I'm only guessing. If he's obviously had all back injuries, like you say, so...
Well, you can imagine
it's only going
the
to
sort
hinder him, really.
A pitch is going to... You sort of the twist action that you're doing.
Yeah.
You're repeating that action hundreds of times a week.
Yeah.
Like, sure, something's going to give. You can't just be out for, let's take, 74 days is his biggest sort of time out from his back injury. 10 weeks.
It's 2.5 months.
10 weeks.
A common back injury in cricket is a stress fracture because of that repeatedness of certain action.
Yeah, it's easy to imagine, isn't it? And how long would he be out for that, for instance?
Some of them have been rather short. They've been like 2 to 3 months. When you consider how serious a fracture is, then that's no time at all. But I guess if it's kind of a common injury, then I guess you get techniques of how to repair them quicker.
Definitely.
It's repeated injuries to the same. So obviously back injuries over the years. You think down the line, even past his playing career, even things such as like walking are going to be compromised. You've got to think you can't keep having the same injury year in, year out, performing at that level. I don't know how old he is, but you've got to say that if it keeps happening, you've got to think he'd be livelihood after
he looks at least
career.
23.
Excellent.
I'm going to say that.
So it's a strange one. I mean, I don't know what the Dodgers fans, I should say, what their opinion is of Kershaw. If you're right in what you're saying in his record with him,
that's what it
2-6.
Yeah,
right. I
2-6
guess
this season with him. Yeah.
Throw it out to the audience.
Yeah, any Dodgers fans out there?
What's your opinion of Kershaw? Are you
So-
better with or without him?
Yeah. So in the last couple of days, the GB baseball team have been holding their tryouts.
Yeah,
National
now
team tryouts. Yeah.
we've sort of again we've touched on this without going in, haven't we?
Yeah.
Is the sport taking off in Britain? And if you look around, there are examples.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we've established that there's a amateur league, a couple of leagues going
there's a
now.
Nottingham team as well.
Yeah, there's a lesser team I think as well.
Yeah.
So it's
I guess
the interest is
try and get down, see one of them play.
well, yeah, an interview or something like that together, definitely, sort of first-hand experience.
Yep. So there's a shout out to the Nottingham team.
Absolutely.
We'll find out some more information and let you know.
Yeah, so this was back in April, and it involved the under 15 and 18 squads, and sort of competition for the places in these squads, leading up to a potential place in the European Championships, which I believe held in. So under 18s held in Italy, under 15s held in Belgium.
And the under 12s are in Hungary for the European Championship qualifier.
So again, that sort of explains not just sort of US and UK interest. Europe's picking up on it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And with the MLB coming over here next year, it'd be interesting to see how that kind of develops.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I'd imagine that it'd be quite difficult to actually get really decent kind of facilities. To play to a very decent standard.
It's not like, for instance, the '94 effect in America when they had the World Cup.
No.
because their advantage is they're prepared to throw money down
Absolutely.
to get good at the sport, because they're already good athletes, the Americans, but it's just the techniques.
Yeah.
So you look at 20 odd years later, 30 odd years later, they're, in terms of the women's football team, they're forced.
Yeah.
The men's team, not far behind, I'd say.
Right.
Yeah.
On par with a lot of sort of...
Still didn't qualify for one of the biggest World Cups.
Yeah, and I guess that's a real shame for them.
Yeah.
But I imagine they'll still be watching.
Yeah.
There'll still be a vested interest.
Yeah, I imagine so.
But yeah, like you say, with us, we'll see after the games next year.
Yeah.
Maybe a
See if it
similar
takes
effect
off.
over here.
Yeah.
Some kind of grassroots organisation saying, okay, let's throw X amount of millions down and get something together.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you can buy Chicago Cubs baseball in Sports Direct, then anything can happen.
Sports
Sports
Direct.
Direct.
The home of... And it's funny though, because you can buy any sporting merchandise in the world. You can't buy a Newcastle away kit though, can you?
You can't buy a Newcastle away
No.
kit. The owner of Newcastle owns Sports Direct, and you
can
cannot
buy
buy
a
a Newcastle away kit.
Plymouth Argyle away shirt, probably.
You
but-
can,
Can't buy a Norwich shirt there.
probably for good reason. Just kidding.
Yeah.
A bit below the belt.
Very
Below
much
the
so.
belt.
I mean, the second best team in...
Well, after Cambridge United.
finished below Ipswich, didn't you? One place below Ipswich.
Yeah, but that's enough of that. Lisa says she doesn't like soccer, so we're not going to have any of that.
Okay.
No soccer talk.
World Cup. Summary coming up later.
Yeah. A whole separate thing.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on the
Yeah, see how it does.
GB
after
teams.
next year, yeah.
Trying to find a date for when this European competition's held. I can't find one here though, but we'll keep an eye on
It's
that.
sometime in the future.
Yeah, I'd probably say summer. You've got
Yeah.
to say, maybe, definitely, allegedly.
Possibly.
We'll see.
An Oasis album there, isn't there? Definitely, maybe.
Yes, stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yes. Quote from the Bible.
What's next? We got any mascots you want
Mascots,
to talk
yeah.
about?
Oh yes.
Here's a good one for you.
Mascot mayhem.
A lot of teams go for alliteration, but the Miami Marlins aren't one of them.
Completely throw that out of the park.
And we've got Billy the Marlin.
Billy the Marlin.
Yes,
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but one of the weird things about him is when he first burst onto the scene, he was involved in kind of a skydiving mishap. Where
It's a great name for a band.
yes,
Yeah.
where the mascot that was being parachuted in lost his head. Literally.
Oh dear.
Not the actual person. He managed to land safely, and
His head landed elsewhere.
yeah, it took about 2 weeks to find on somewhere on the Miami Turnpike or something.
Oh dear.
But yeah, he's kind of a weird looking fella.
Yeah, he is.
It's like,
We'll tweet a picture out of him, but he is
Yeah.
a very very odd looking guy or girl.
And what's the opinion on Billy? What were they thinking?
Billy,
then?
where, yeah. Who actually thought that name was a good idea
yeah,
for a mascot?
Marvin the Marlin.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike the Marlin.
Yeah, like you say, alliteration.
Manny.
Yeah,
Manny the Marlin.
Mark the Marlin. Marco.
Yeah.
Billy.
Max.
Yeah, Max the Marlin.
Dave.
Well,
Everyone knows a Dave.
Yeah.
everyone knows the Dave
Yeah.
Marlin.
Dave
So
the
yeah,
Marlin.
apparently he's like 8 foot tall as well, which I think's
How tall's an average Marlin?
not 8 foot.
Oh no.
How tall's the average Natasha Kapinski?
6'2". Yeah.
So he completely
So-
towers over Natasha.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird, but there you
Well, there is kind of a trend in weird looking mascots.
go. Yeah.
Didn't we have the Astro Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
The hell was that? That was just...
Yeah, that was weird. And then there's a couple of mascots that have got like baseballs for heads.
That is the Mets one of them as well.
I think so. And I can't remember what
I
the
can't
other
remember the name. No,
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's literally a baseball head.
Yeah.
So it's a lazy
Yeah.
excuse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lazy mascot.
Absolutely.
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah. Well, I guess Billy is kind of the original name.
Yeah, give him the props.
Yeah.
In fact, what we should do, while we're doing the mascot thing,
Yeah.
we should have a ranking of where we put them.
Yeah.
Sort of like, when on Top Gear, where they have the times for the celebrity in a reasonably priced car, whatever it is.
T20 cricket in this country has a mascot race at finals day.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Are we in?
Well, we don't have a giant squirter costume, do we?
I think, for good reason, they've not let us participate because obviously he's going to win.
Yeah.
No doubt Squirrel will win any race.
So most of the cricket teams have mascots. So we've got Sid the Shark at Sussex.
Yeah.
So they all get together for a race on finals day. And it's
Keith Chegwin, commentator?
No, it's David Lloyd, Bumble.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
Yeah, he does the commentary for that because he's.
I love Bumble.
How much of that is him wanting to do it? Does he have that sort of Graham Norton Eurovision vibe where you can tell he'd rather be anywhere else than...
He absolutely loves it. He gets right into
really?
the spirit of it, yeah.
He does.
So, the twist is he hates cricket because it sounds so miserable.
Well, the guy that runs English cricket, I should say English cricket because obviously Scotland have their own, their own team.
And Ireland.
Yeah, because they incorporate Northern Ireland in the Irish team. He kind of made a comment the other week, basically, that says that no one actually really likes cricket.
I've actually seen that.
Yeah.
It's so wrong.
Yeah.
What material was the balloon made of, and how fast did that go down?
It was made of a heavy type of lead. But yeah, so apparently we want to get new people into cricket, but nobody likes it anyway.
No,
so
the young people
it's
don't like cricket.
Yeah,
And it's sort of you brought up that new format, the 100 ball format.
which is supposed to entice like families and kids because cricket's too difficult to understand. Yeah, that is actually more difficult to understand. Yeah.
It seems to be a solution to a problem that doesn't really exist.
No, the product that is there is good enough. It just needs to be marketed that way.
Yeah.
If you don't have faith in your own products, then who's going to?
Who else is going to have faith in it?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is accessibility as well. When you look at it's always on Sky.
Yeah.
I remember watching the Ashes when I was younger with my granddad
2005
on like Channel 5 or Channel 4.
Channel 4, yeah.
And it was just everyone watched it.
Yeah.
Because first of all it was the Ashes, but then it got all Sky wanted it.
Yeah.
And they branched off to different formats like you've got your T20, which I actually quite like T20, but I like Test cricket as well.
And
a lot of it's
it's
accessibility.
that it doesn't really fit into like TV schedules. It's when you've got the red button and you've got an empty BBC Three channel,
exactly,
and BBC Four that you could put it on. There's no excuse for it.
No, there's not. No.
But yeah, we came here for the baseball.
We did.
Did we? I came here for the taste test.
Absolutely. Shall we?
We shall. This is generously supplied by our gracious co-host, Mr. Thomas Portby.
No problem at all, gentlemen. Right, on this taste test, we will be sampling Haribo Star Mix or Tangfastics.
Instantly, I feel 10.
Yeah.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Yeah.
Kids and grown-ups love it so.
Yeah. Although I boycotted them because of the advert. It was just so awful.
Wow.
But yeah, since they got rid of it, it's like, it's fine.
You find to go back in.
I have dodgy teeth.
If I eat any more, I will have dodgy teeth.
Which means that the Tangtastics cause problems with my teeth, but they do taste good.
They do taste good.
So, in that spirit, I'm going to have a
We'll
cola
throw that out to the listeners. Which one do you prefer? Tangfastics or Star Mix?
Tangfastic, first of all.
Oh,
try the Star Mix.
I say yes. Squirtle's just proposed to me, and he's made me the happiest man in the world.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Commiserations.
And now for the
Off to Gretna Green you go.
Tangfastics. I must admit, I do love the cherry Tangfastics.
I was going to say, what in terms of the original mix, what's the favourite the go-to.
The eggs are pretty decent.
The heart for me. The heart or the egg. But on the Tangfastics, it's always the cherries.
I don't know which way I'm
Or
going to swing on this
the
one.
little mini cubs.
Yep.
Shout out to the Cubs.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said for ages that I prefer Star Mix. But I don't know. I'm more going towards the fence now.
Yeah.
I don't feel as guilty eating, say, 10 Star Mix, 10 Tangfastics.
No.
Yeah.
I
Just because you
couldn't
can
eat
see it's covered in
Fantastics.
it's covered in sugar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's that sort of thing that means you can't eat anything like
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 days
Whereas
after.
you have a fried egg and you think,
Yeah.
how bad can this be?
Yeah, I could eat enough for
I'm not my cholesterol's not going to go through the roof.
No.
Eating tons of these. I'll just die in other ways.
So what are you guys saying?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Star Mix every day.
I think
Yeah, I have to go Star Mix.
Tangfastics for me.
2 for 1.
But it's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, what usually I do with the Star Mix is I get down to
Oh,
where
yeah,
I've got
look what I've picked up.
I get down to where I've got one of each left,
Yeah.
and then just shove them all in the mouth. It's just like
High
the
five
best-
yourself.
Yeah, it's just like the best feeling ever. Yeah, so you can see that I don't get up to many extracurricular things.
This is why I've been so busy recently.
This is a family show. See, we eat at Haribo here, so it must be a family show.
So yeah, we're 2 and 1 on that. Did anyone catch the results of the last one we did? The nuts
It was honey roasted.
honey roasted
That
by
one.
It was a
by
bundle,
length,
that
wasn't
one,
it?
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was by length actually.
No love for dry roasted.
No.
No love.
I do believe it was.
Plain Jane got a few, but yeah, it was honey.
Yeah, honey was.
And then to be fair, I've had some since.
Yeah.
Great choice.
And yeah, they're good guys that supplied us with them. Co-Fresh.
Go yeah,
Full fresh, yeah.
absolutely Co-Fresh, based in where was it?
Leicester.
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 Yeah, shouts out to them.
Yeah, honey roasted won 67% to 33. Dry roasted got no votes.
Yeah, no love.
Not a lot of love for the
Dry.
dry roast.
And it's not. I probably
You like something juicy in your mouth. don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You like something sweet and juicy.
Yeah, when you're nibbling on nuts.
Excellent. The freshest of
So yeah,
nuts.
we'll throw that out to a vote and see what the listeners think.
Yeah. Shall we talk about Hayley?
Shall we?
for it.
Our sort of our little hero of the podcast.
Absolutely.
We've all sort of adopted her as our little mascot.
Yep.
Hayley Dawson, as those that should know by now, she's the young girl from Las Vegas. She's got the prosthetic hand, or the 3D printed hand, and she's using that hand to throw the first pitch at every MLB ground. So over the course of the last couple of days, quick succession really, she notched off number 8 at the Cleveland Indians Progressive Field, and the number 9 was at Colorado Rockies Coors Field. So she's racking up.
She's
Very
doing
nicely.
Yeah, she's not far off halfway.
And what I would like to mention as well, we've not touched on this before, the designs of the hand that she uses for each sort of game,
Yeah.
all adorned with the club's sort of crest and the colours and that kind of thing. Really cool.
Fantastic, yeah.
And sort of united the airline as well. They've sort of took her on, and
They flew her out to a few places.
Yeah.
On their behalf, so
so just a really good story.
Credit to them,
Just,
yeah.
Just a really feel good story.
absolutely.
And I guess we'll follow that of course over the course of the season. I think I've read. I think the original itinerary. I think it would have taken the 30th to next season, but I have a feeling it's been adjusted now, so it ends this season. But yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that. Like I say, 21 to go.
Yep. She'll get there.
Yeah, achieving something that I don't think many people have done.
No, absolutely not. No. Shout out to her mum as well. Her mum has listened to the podcast
yeah,
in the past, and
we spoke to her mum
yeah, we did.
on Twitter, and she seems lovely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fan of ours, and we're a fan of theirs. So.
And what Hayley's doing. So yeah, fantastic.
And speaking of first pitches, shall we discuss a guy that we've spoke about many
Yes,
times.
shall we?
The White Sox pitcher,
Danny Farquhar.
So he's, I mean, you look up the definition of miraculous recovery. This man's the poster boy, surely.
Yeah, it's crazy just how he's come back from just an absolutely horrendous sort of incident on a baseball field. Sort of a brain hemorrhage.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous to say how far he's come back, how quick he's come back. Sorry.
It really does put into perspective, because I remember watching the Champions League game, for instance, and there was the sort of the way they were speaking of Salah's injury. They were as if he'd died.
Oh God, yeah.
He dislocated his arm, as if he'd lost his life in that game. And yet, here you've got a guy.
A dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
It's going to heal.
Yeah.
That's not.
I put injuries in a bracket of, can they still run a marathon? And Salah can still run a marathon with one less arm. Whereas Danny Farquhar, he was out. He was in a coma. Brain aneurysm. It's a serious thing.
Absolutely. It is life or death.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
He's come about in what month, should we say? Give or take.
If you want.
First pitch. Was it last night's game? So,
credit to him.
Yeah, and I can't begin to imagine the reception he would have got as well from that crowd.
Absolutely.
A man that a month ago was under and now pitching again. So we won't see him this season, will we? I think doctors have said.
No, they've not cleared him to throw a competitive pitch this season. So you'll be looking at sometime next season, but we're not sure when yet. But yeah, it's fantastic to see him back per se.
Yeah, I think the signs are good. The signs are positive that recovery is being made. But like we say, I mean, the ins and outs of a brain injury, we don't know long term. We don't even really know short term, do we? All we really know is that he's on the up.
Absolutely.
So yeah, best wishes to him. Hope he does get there.
Absolutely.
Shall we talk about our heroes of the sport, our adopted player of the season?
That would be cool.
And that leads us into
Cool in the game.
So what's Mr.
Mr. Chad of the Pirates, who I discovered this week doesn't have the silliest name on the Pittsburgh Pirates pitching staff.
You sent this to me. I think it was today.
Yeah, Austin Meadows. No, what's his name? I can't even see it.
Steve Smoker.
Something like that. Yeah, it's like, what a name. And it's kind of appropriate because you want him to throw smoke.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So
hope he's not a drag to hang around with.
I think the reason I can't find him on this one is because I'm looking at the batting averages, which Chad called averages .188.
You did mention this. That's
Yeah.
very, very decent for someone that's not
that's
a batter, really.
3 hits. Which is reasonable.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool indeed.
2 runs.
Yeah.
From 16 at bats. So that's if we can find his pitching stats. He only conceded 1 run in about 6 innings the other day, and still lost the game.
Wow.
Which kind of makes you wonder what kind of the backup kind of
the relief
is.
pitcher.
Yeah.
There's just in his last 10 games, looks like he's finished on the. So he's played 10 games and been on the winning side. 6 times? So that's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
But he's leading them in kind of in strikeouts.
Okay.
So 5 in the last 7 days. 58 strikeouts so far this season, with an earned run average of 3.94.
Well, not too bad.
Yeah. When you consider his career and average is 4.23. So
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's going above his statistics.
Shall we move on to Mr. Cueto?
Well,
Where's Johnny?
where's Johnny? Johnny is currently on the DL. Still on the DL.
He's on the down low.
He's had an absolute Western
on the
supermare.
DL. He has had a Western Supermare.
And all we can do is taunting him.
He was trying
Boom, boom.
All these Somerset jokes that I knew they'd come in handy one day.
So yeah, he's still on the DL with right elbow inflammation. No news really as to when he's back. So yeah, it's a bit of a sad one really, because he was doing very, very well in terms of win loss and ERA. His stats still are 3-0 with a 0.84 ERA. So it's pretty sad for him really, because he is a fantastic pitcher, and I think it's something what the Giants have been missing. Our pitching's not been great recently, and I know for me, being a Giants fan, I hope to see him back very, very soon. Because like I say, pitching's not been our strongest point at the minute.
No.
So
You're going to be overtaken by the Padres.
The Padres.
We spoke about this off
did,
air, didn't we?
yeah.
That how things have changed in that division, which doesn't seem to be strongest in terms of quality, and in terms of a team really taking it by the scruff of the neck and leading out. 4-win difference between Padres in 5th and the Rockies in 1st. So it's how things
It's quite
can
a
swing.
tight division that is as well. It's becoming more and more.
If the Padres, because the Padres aren't going to win a wild card with that record, but if they win that division, on the virtue of the other teams being as poor, if not worse than them, I don't know what I'll do. It'd be the worst team in the playoffs by a mile. They don't deserve to be there, but I'd love them to be there.
Yeah, so if somebody could tell us who are the worst teams to ever qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a point. Yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah.
There must be a team that just...
Yeah.
Even they must have been like, well, how did we
get here?
Yeah. I mean, I know there's only 8 teams that get to the playoffs, which we're saying, according to this book, is quite a slim number of teams when you compare it to other American sports. And I guess when you compare it to English football as well, and the fact that only 4 teams reach the playoffs.
It does remind me of sort of teams that
24
get into the playoffs without deserving to be there.
Yeah.
Blackpool in, was it 2009?
When they got promoted to the
Premiership.
Yeah, and they really turned up trees, really, didn't they? They were fantastic.
Wow, yeah, they had a great...
They were fantastic.
Isn't Mansfield native-born player in that side as well? You know what I'm thinking about.
Not sure.
Went to school with
Jake
Mr. Thomas Stone. No, the
James
other guy.
Perch?
No. I think he got a double-barreled surname.
Alex John Baptiste.
That's the one.
Oh, okay.
Alex John
Yeah,
Baptiste.
he played for Blackpool.
He did. Yes, he did, yeah.
He saw the lights, did he?
Of Blackpool eliminations.
Yeah, one of our good buddies went to school with him as well, apparently.
Yeah, James Perch. Rebecca Adlington.
Oh, well. So, yeah, on to your
Mike.
adopted
Yep.
son.
So,
Because you are trout and proud.
I am trout and proud, and I've been trouting about, looking at things that Mr. Trout's been up to.
What hasn't he been up to?
Well,
He's just a guy, isn't he?
even before
The man.
he is. He's not a man. He's a god. You came, burst through my door. You waddled your little fanny into the living room, and you said, "This is your Mike Trout story for today."
Yeah.
Different to the one I had, but still pretty impressive. But mine is... So this is all about something called war.
What is it good for?
Not much. Which stands for...
You know the guy that sung that
Above
song?
replacement.
You know the guy that sung that song? He lived in Nottingham for years.
Excellent.
True story?
Yeah, allegedly. Yes, go on. What was that?
Does it stand for wins above replacement?
It does. And it's basically a sort of, it's a way to compare players in their respective positions.
Okay.
So it's all the same final figure. So a WAR stat will generally be a number between 1 and say 7 maximum. Highest being better, obviously. And it takes into account, so for a pitcher, for instance, strikeouts, sort of how many plays you've got out, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
For a batter, sort of runs, home runs, bases stolen, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So it takes all that into account and gives you a final figure. So for, let's say, for example's sake, an MVP player would have a 6+ WAR stat. So going back onto Mike Trout, he has overtaken 8 Hall of Famers just this month, or this would have been May, in terms of WAR, his WAR stat. So he is on a WAR stat of 4.9 just this season, which puts him into bracket of all-star, borderline superstar. It's a position it's not exactly foreign territory for him as well.
No.
So I'll quickly read out the names of the players he's overtook. Whitey Ford, Joe Gordon, Willie Stargell, Joe Torre, Joe McGinty, Hank Greenberg, Rube Waddle, and Mordecai Brown.
Mordecai Brown.
Yeah. Fun fact, Three Finger Brown was his nickname because he only had 4.5 fingers. Anyway,
Trout is the 4th player in history to bat .300 plus with 15 plus home runs and 50 runs batted in entering June, and the first Angels player to do that.
Scary fact, isn't it?
Yeah. Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, and Frank Thomas, the others.
Very scary fact.
And they were, and 2 of them won Most Valuable Player. So what Mark McGuire was playing out, we don't know.
We have to look at the Angels and their sort of so-so form this season as well.
Mm-hmm.
They are being absolutely carried, you have to say, by sort of the Trout-Ohtani doubleheader.
Absolutely.
Because they're not pulling up trees in that division.
They're not. Definitely not. I mean,
How
30 and 27, so just a shy above 500. Houston are running away with that division.
That's the thing, they're just in the wrong division.
Like you said, they are being carried by those 2 players. I mean, Trout's having just a meteoric season.
Yeah, and Ohtani's came in and sort of set that division alight.
Absolutely, yeah.
The young lad. So there's something that just seems to be a very sort of one-dimensional team. That if they don't perform,
the team doesn't perform.
Yeah, who's going to carry that sort of? An injury would ruin that team. You have to say.
You'd say so. You would, yeah.
So yeah, it's not great for them.
He's having an all-star season. That's quite silly to say, but he's having a Hall of Fame season.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, he's only really sort of tied with Mr. Mookie Betts in terms of batting sort of pedigree this season.
Yeah. So.
And speaking of that WAR stat that you mentioned, I think he only played his first full season. Mike Trout was 2012.
Yeah.
So I think he debuted in 2011, but I think he debuted part way through the season.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So his first full season was 2012. So he's absolutely fantastic.
It's just phenomenal. This goes on to references the 7-game stretch he had leading up to this particular article. He retook the major league lead in home runs. The stretch included when Trout went 5 for 5 with 3 doubles and a homer at the Yankee Stadium on Saturday.
Yep.
It's just he's gone there and just said, "Look, I'm going to be the best today.
Come at me."
Yeah, and he was. So yeah, I mean, he is a phenomenal player, and
yes,
it's very easy material for me to fill this segment. That's what I will say.
Yeah. So, one of the kind of things that we said we're going to do over the season is kind of expand our knowledge. To
try to.
Yeah. So with that, I ordered a book called Watching Baseball Smarter by Zach Hampel.
Shout out.
And it's got a very in-depth glossary of baseball slang. So I thought we'd just pick one at random and then have a discussion about that.
Yeah, go for it.
So the first one that caught my eye is shag.
Shag.
Yeah, which is to practice fielding fly balls or to collect balls during batting practice.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'll tell you what, now, since you've got the book there, do you want to pick another one and we'll guess what we think it means?
Okay. Here's one for the Taylor Swift fans.
Okay.
Shake off.
Shake off.
Shake off.
Is it sort of a comeback from injury reference?
Is it to practice stealing bases? No.
A sort of a decision overturned or something?
I mean, how long do you want the podcast to be?
And at least another 30 minutes.
No.
No.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
So, you've got your pitcher who's given the signals to the you catcher even giving signals
Catcher gives us a bit.
Yeah.
to the pitcher. So, if he disagrees with what the pitcher says, he'll
Oh,
just
he just shakes his
shake-
head.
shake-
Yeah.
shakes it
Wow.
off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
That's it.
Should we go for another one then?
Go on then.
Sure.
Kitchen.
Kitchen.
Spelt as in a kitchen sink.
Is it just another name for the bullpen?
No. Shall I tell you?
Yeah, you'll have to.
It's the area near the hitter's hands.
So, what does that reference the?
Strike zone.
Yeah.
So I guess it's in the strike zone, but particularly near the pitcher's hands. Maybe it's just outside the strike zone. 'Cause maybe.
That is,
Yeah,
how
but
is
I
that?
would never ever have
No.
got that.
Yeah. In the hole.
That's the gap in between
two
outfielders.
outfielders. Yeah. Or due to bat after the on deck hitter. So,
Okay.
Are we going to keep coming back to that one then?
Yeah, I think that'd be
Good,
good one.
good segment to have.
Reverse angle in here is backwards.
I like that.
Yeah, so
That's good.
Good
that's
stuff.
all good.
Good stuff. I've got another little trivia for you.
Go
It's
for it.
a throwback to my real or fake segment.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
So, names of players. You tell me if it's a name of an MLB player, past or present,
Fact or fiction?
or not.
Okay.
So I'll start with Mario Milkman.
Real.
Milkman. It sounds real. Yeah, I imagine that to be real.
He's a footballer.
Oh,
He
wow.
played in the same Bournemouth side of the 70s as Harry Redknapp.
Nice.
Mario Milkman.
Milko Milkman.
Milko Milkman.
Milko Milkman.
I thought you said Mario Milkman.
I may have done. I may have looked at this one by mistake and said Mario Turdo.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
got to be real.
He's an Argentinian footballer,
No way.
or was, should I say.
But he's a real person.
Yeah, he's a real person.
Brian Brickhouse.
God.
Is he built like one?
Just hope so.
6'6", 300.
False.
True.
Yeah, he plays for the Idaho Falls, which I do believe is a AA team. George Welcome.
He's not welcome in my house.
False.
You think false?
Yeah, I'll say
He's a
false.
Honduran footballer.
Nice.
Steve Bean. Steve Bean.
True.
What sort of bean?
Steve Bean.
Kidney? Butter? Chick? No,
Yeah,
that's a
well,
chickpea.
There's
God.
there's Billy Bean, the Moneyball bloke, isn't there?
Oh, is that his name?
There's Butterbean, the boxer.
So he might not be
It's
real.
Mr.
then.
Bean, the
Mr.
funny
Bean,
comedic.
yeah, Mr. Bean.
actor.
Yeah. Rowan Atkins.
Steve Bean.
Steve Bean.
Let's go for false. Cause
He sounds like a darts player to me.
He is a current player for the Palm Beach AA. Well, I think it's AA side.
What are their nicknames?
I didn't jot it down. That's one to Google.
The Beans.
It must be.
You already let it down.
Mr. Forbes Phillipson Masters.
Forbes Phillipson Masters.
Mr. Forbes Phillipson
Oh,
Masters.
Mr. So I do apologise.
Real.
False.
Footballer.
Footballer.
Mm.
Who did he play for?
He was I think he was capped for England a couple of times in like the 20s or something. Something ridiculous. Final one for you.
Okay.
Scooter Hightower.
That's got to be real.
Gotta be real.
Gotta be real.
Bristol Pirates.
Nice.
Which did pique my interest because is that our little Bristol team?
It could be because the Rovers of that same city is nicknamed the Pirates.
It's a shame I haven't got any means to Google this.
Yeah. Don't you mean ask it?
Oh yeah, shout out to Jeeves.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are other search engines available.
Oh no, it is Bristol, Virginia.
Yeah.
It's a shame, isn't
They're a
it?
rookie level team in the
Yeah.
Appalachian League. As of October 16, 2013, they're owned by the Pittsburgh Pirates.
You took that pronunciation a lot better than I've done.
Appellation.
Appalachian? I don't know.
Is that what it is? I don't even know which one it
There's
is.
the Appalachian Trail, isn't there? So
Okay, I assume so,
I'd
yeah.
just imagine it.
We'll agree to disagree.
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, that's all of
That
them.
was
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have more of that.
Oh, absolutely. I've a huge backlog of these.
I guess
Oh.
Red Sox have let a player go today, haven't
They
they?
have.
Hanley Ramirez, yeah.
Yeah.
He's just been released.
Just see you later.
See you.
Yeah.
Any other
I guess
teams
it's to kind of
signing for a minimum?
free up space in the roster for a couple of players, one that's returned. And I guess it's imagine it's kind of the Mickey Betts kind of phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not even in his kind of wheelhouse, then I guess
You're free to go. Yeah.
Interesting to find out that it's his second stint in that team.
Yeah,
So came back for more and
yeah. I think it was.
they said no thanks.
I think he may have been well liked by the fans, but
Okay.
yeah.
How are the Red Sox fans in terms of, let's say, that, like the Yankees, for instance, if you don't perform?
Do they get on players' backs?
I guess quite a few teams kind of tend to get on the backs of some players. I guess it depends how that player feels like they're part of the side, doesn't it? How they kind of relate to the fan, which can be difficult, I guess, at times.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think I ever heard any sort of kind of bad words about Ramirez. So
That's, I guess, that makes him free to sign now. You brought up the draft.
The draft, yeah.
In my house, and I said it's not something I can really manage.
I mean, here
when you have
Baseball
450
Towers,
square acres of land.
It's kind of difficult when you're on like the 6th floor penthouses.
And I did move down from the 7th just because the view was just too good.
Yeah,
And I was getting
amazing.
nothing done.
Yeah,
The quarry at night.
yeah,
It's poetry.
yes.
Poetry.
Overlooking some of the nice vistas of Mansfield.
You can almost see the stag and pheasant.
Yeah,
The good old stag. Oh, also a happy belated birthday to one of our favourite pitchers, Bartolo Colon.
Oh,
happy belated
excellent.
45th.
Wow, yeah.
he's not a day over 52.
Absolutely not. No.
There's a proper athlete right there.
I still think back to when he hit a home run. I think it was his first home run, and I don't think I've seen anybody go around the plate so slow in my life. It's so great to watch. But yeah, happy belated birthday to Bartolo. Still going strong.
Yeah, we love him to bits, that man.
Still
Going
legend.
strong.
Mm.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this draft. So you mentioned that it's sort of different teams have sort of different times they can go in.
It's the team with
I think
the
it's all-
worst record from the year before, isn't it?
It's all based on
Pick.
the.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously you finish with the worst record. It's the same with most American sports, same with the ice hockey, basketball and the NFL. You finish with the worst record in the league, you get basically a higher chance of getting the top pick. You get, I know in basketball there's a thing called a draft lottery. So if you have the worst record, you might have a 45% chance of getting the number one pick. But that might change if you want to. You can trade your pick. So if someone comes along and say, right, well, I will give you, I don't know, let's just say mucky bets, for example. It's not going to happen, but we'll give you mucky bets for your first round, for your number one pick.
Oh, I see.
You can do that, but not a lot of teams do that. Obviously, trades do happen, so you can go further down the draft, or you can go up the draft accordingly. But like I say, it's all based on the record for the previous season.
Yeah, it's something I've not really. I've wanted to really sort of go into and learn. But
Having read like the first 3 chapters of Moneyball, I'm an expert on it.
absolutely.
Over to you.
Yeah, well, not really. But yeah, I guess baseball's more difficult because they tend to look for a number of certain criteria in who they pick. I guess the Moneyball kind of theory looked more at stats than at the actual player. But you're kind of picking people out of like high school and college.
Oh yeah, they are.
And then I guess with other sports like American football, that player will probably be higher up in the list of if you're actually getting into the main team. Whereas baseball, they kind of nurture them and bring them through the minor leagues, and then kind of
filter them through there.
Yeah.
So I guess there is probably less chance that somebody that you're going to pick in the draft is actually going to make it seriously.
Unless they are that good.
Yeah.
Unless they're that good. So yeah, well...
interesting sort of concept, though, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I think the Tigers have the first pick, I believe.
Wow, and they're doing reasonably well this season.
I think we have the second pick. I do believe the Giants. I did find a list of...
So do you think anyone will go in for Ramirez? No, he's a free man.
Well, he's a free agent. I'm sure he can do a job for somebody.
Yeah, you can just pick him up, whatever.
He's got his stats.
Irrespective of the draft.
His stats at the time of being released, 2.54 average, 6 home runs, 29 RBI. So he'll do a job for someone, like you say.
Absolutely,
Someone, someone that needs a bit extra firepower.
If it's a 1-year contract, if it's, he can come in and do a job.
A potential reason for his release. So he was on his way to reach the minimum number of at-bats that would have automatically triggered the 2019 season option in his contract, which would have paid him 22 mil.
Who did that in the football? There was like a player that was just about to reach.
I think there's a few examples actually. Now you
I
say
think
it.
Forest had one, didn't they? Where he's literally about to reach a certain criteria that allowed him to get paid more money.
And they released
and
him.
then it was like, yeah, you can just stay on the bench for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously that isn't the explanation, but it's very, very sort of very shrewd choice by that team if that's the reason why. But then 22 mil, what's that nowadays in baseball? If Robinson Cano can
forfeit 11 of his $24
quarter of $1 billion in 10 years. So I don't know. If that's the reason, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything else on the agenda?
Have you got our predictions to hand?
Yes.
Yes.
And then we can perhaps have a look at those. And while Mr. Drink gets that, we could perhaps talk about some of the books that we have.
Yep.
Boys of Summer, not by Don Henley, but Roger Kahn. That's a classic about the Brooklyn Dodgers. And then we'll carry on with the books later.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, what did you kind of have?
So we'll go from division to division, for instance. So let's go to
the Sox to win.
Yeah, you of course went for local pride.
Yeah, and they're
the White Sox.
Yeah. So the Red Sox are 1.5 games ahead of the Yankees.
That gap has closed, I think.
It closed?
Oh no, it closed to that. Sorry.
Yeah. But the Yankees look like they've got some games in hand.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah.
Only a couple.
Yeah. Like 1.5.
Yeah. So let's say we're first and second.
Yeah.
Well, I think that league was easy to predict.
Yeah. I mean,
Baltimore, the whipping boys of that league.
Red Sox are 10 games ahead of the Tampa Rays, aren't they?
Third, so yeah, it's
Central. So
Indians are.
We all went for a unanimous Tigers.
Yeah, you're a second place at the moment.
Yeah, so again, but Indians are on a 6-game win streak.
So the Tigers are 4.5 games back.
And they're the only team in that division to have a positive difference as well.
Yeah.
Best streak in the MLB.
Yeah, closely followed by the Padres, but we'll get to those. West, me and Tom with Astros.
Yeah.
Ramage with the Angels.
And they're third at the moment, 5.5 games back.
But it's, you know...
Yeah, but they're a two-man team, so you never know.
Yeah.
Well, they say an injury to one of them and it could all be...
Could be. Well, the Astros have proven,
Yeah.
you know, reigning champs.
Yeah.
They've got what it takes.
It's tight at the top of National League East.
Yes, so
There's
Tom
three
and
teams in contention for that. At the
I
moment.
went for the Braves. Tom and
I went for
yourself,
the
Ramage,
Phillies,
went
but
for the Phillies.
Yeah,
I wouldn't begrudge the Nationals that, who are half a game behind the Braves.
This is very close at the top there, actually, I must say.
with Bryce Harper
When
and
the
Max Scherzer.
Mets are 5 games back, so they're still in it.
Have a bit of a stick
Yeah, you
around
can't
them.
count them out.
Yeah, and don't count out the Marlins yet.
Derek Jeter has told us,
Yeah.
don't count them out.
Don't count them out.
I mean, they've got a minus 100 run difference.
Don't
but
count them out.
Don't count them out. They're on their 3-game losing streak. So it's
Don't
looking
count them
good.
out.
Definitely don't count them out. Derek Jeter, you're a genius.
Yeah.
As you shout at the wall. Central,
I think
myself and Jamie went for the Cubs.
Yeah, they're
Tom
4
with the
games
Brewers.
behind the Brewers.
Running
go for the
the
Brewers,
Roy
yeah.
leaders there.
Yeah.
So I get first and second again.
Yeah, although the Cubs have got a plus 82 run difference, so, so that's encouraging.
Strange that they're so far back.
Yeah.
And West, myself, well, I went for the Rockies, and Tom and
Oh, the
Jamie,
Cubs have got some games in hand as well.
a couple, yeah.
Colorado seemed to be...
And Mr. Ramage and Mr. Bolby went for the
Diamondbacks,
D-backs.
yeah, which 1.5 games behind.
So it's
But
not...
one of only 2 teams in that division to be in
positive run difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the Rockies are on top. They've got a minus 17 run difference. So
Yeah, I reckon the Padres are going to win that now.
So, well...
six games back.
Yeah.
Don't count them out.
None of us...
3-game winning streak as well.
At worst, our picks are third.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's not... We're predicting in a sport that we try... We're learning
Yeah.
as we go.
We are, yeah. A work in progress.
Most games have played, 60 games now?
It's around about...
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Yeah.
57, 56 games, something like that. So.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
third,
just past a third of the way through, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we can have a look at that, back at that when it gets to the All-Stars game.
We should stress, we predicted this a month ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
So, I think 20-odd games.
Yeah.
And we didn't really look at the leagues, sort of.
No, it was just a brief, yeah, they'll do.
Yeah.
I like the look of them, yep.
Yeah.
For that.
So, I don't know, we'll see where we end up, and wish why we didn't put money on lottery.
Absolutely. Now that betting's legalised,
Oh,
can
excellent.
now have it.
So I guess that wraps it up.
That wraps it up.
In terms of baseball,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't mention our favourite Boston podcast today, have we?
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Balls deep.
Balls Deep, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, go check that out.
It's
hilarious.
it's the best podcast you'll ever listen to in your life.
It's hilarious.
And for me especially, I did try and find baseball podcasts to sort of see how it's done,
Yeah.
the structure of a baseball podcast. And these guys just knock it out of the park.
Nail it.
So
No
much.
pun intended.
You went all the way in there, didn't you?
Absolutely. Balls deep.
They're good guys.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
very funny.
Funny and informative.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously they follow the best team in the whole of baseball.
The
New York Yankees.
Tampa Bay Rays.
The Miami Marlins.
Yeah. Don't count
Don't
them
count
out.
them out.
Yeah.
No. With their mascot Billy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
wraps it up nicely, doesn't it?
Does,
it
yeah.
does. So Mr. Squirtle, Dilly Dilly, hashtag Dilly Dilly says howdy.
It's a good night from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night from Jim and Billy the Marlin.
Yeah.
From all us at Bullpen HQ.
Yeah.
So we drop
Drop
plugs.
the Twitters, yeah.
I'm at Famous Strauss.
I'm at Stringy Pie.
And I'm at T Boltby. The Twitter of our podcast is obviously Bullpen Pod, so
Bullpen Pod,
give us a follow on that.
Yeah.
We do have a YouTube channel as
We
well.
still need to be told that we suck.
Yeah.
It can't be a real
No
baseball podcast.
no one's told us that yet.
Yeah, no. Which either we're doing something right or we have no listeners.
Yeah.
So,
Probably the
yeah.
latter.
Definitely doing something right.
So please tell us that we suck. We
Please.
want to hear it.
So yeah, that wraps this up for this week. Thank
Right.
you very much
Thank you,
for listening.
and see you soon.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
See you soon.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
listening.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.